I was going to get the right day right. Monday. Happy Monday. I'm already on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We run so quickly in the Catalyst world, but happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Great to have you here. And we've also got Mel, coach here. We've got Sonia Rose coaching here as well. So thank you so much for being here. And I welcome my lovely sister-in-law, Leanne, a minute ago as well. So hey, if you're on Instagram, if you're watching us later, give us a hashtag replay and let us know that you're here and you're watching. We always love to hear how you're doing. How's your weekend been? How's your Monday going so far? We'd really love to hear from you. So let us know how you are. Okay, Rebecca, I'm going to hand over to you to get started and intro us before I go rushing into what we're talking about. Before you do that, I'm just going to say, hey, sorry, we've got Sarah from Blossom Trees Social and Nilufar Nutrition as well. Great to have you.
Hey, so before Sarah and I dive straight into today's topic, which is how to feel more confident as a coach, and for those people that are stumbling across us, this is the first time. For those people that need a little bit of a reminder, Sarah and I are co-founders of the Coaching Catalyst. We support coaches and professionals to help them to thrive in their personal and their professional lives, helping them through mindset, through coaching, and through communication. So we are both ICF accredited coaches. We are coach trainers for lead coaching organizations, and we are also coach supervisors as well. And you can often find us either coaching, training, or supervising in our business, and that includes our collective, which is our collective of coaches. We also work with corporates doing corporate training, and we offer one-to-one coaching as well as one-to-one supervision and events. So we get up to quite a bit in the Catalyst world, but it's all exciting and all in a mission to help create coaching cultures in the workplace and in society. So that is a bit about us today.
Great intro. Thanks, Rebecca. So what you asked us for, coaches, is you said, I'd like to know how to feel more confident as a coach. But actually, if you're joining, I know, Sarah, you're in social media. We've got somebody here from nutrition background. I think actually a lot of what we're going to say today is going to resonate with you as well. So just hold on. And I'd love some feedback from you, like whether, you know, how useful it was or what was useful from what we're saying. If you're a coach, coaching training, you use coaching at work, this is 100% going to be useful for you. So number one, and I know that we know this, but it has to be reiterated all of the time. Number one tip is to avoid the comparison trap. We are wired as human beings to compare ourselves to other people because we evolved being part of a tribe. We've got that real desperate need to fit in. You know, those of us who've got children will know when you watch kids on the playground, they are desperate to be included. They're desperate to fit in. It's a really fundamental need for us as human beings. And so naturally, sometimes unconsciously, we're comparing ourselves to other people. How is, you know, what's he doing? What's she doing? Etc. And judging ourselves and comparing ourselves. Now, the problem is because a lot of the information that we receive is mediated via social media. It's curated, it's edited. What we see on socials is not necessarily a true picture or a true reflection of who this person is, what their level of success is. So it's really, really easy to get drawn into comparison. So I know you've probably heard this message before, but it's number one for me. Stay in your own lane. And that means often really curating that social media feed so that, okay, maybe you choose to follow coaches who inspire you. but just be really mindful about who you choose to follow and who you're comparing yourself to, because it's so easy to get, Rebecca and I do this as well, I think we get distracted sometimes by other people doing things, and we get that shiny object syndrome sometimes, don't we, if we're being honest? And it's not helpful. We've got to be true to yourself, set that compass yourself and follow your own path. Let go of the comparison to other people.
I love that, set your own compass, because it is really, really easy, isn't it, for us to look at what everyone else is doing and think that we have to show up and do the same thing. So great tips. And just shout out to Lead to Evolve for joining and for following. So thank you. And to Fanti Sally for joining us as well over on Instagram. So for me, I'm going to go to my most recent, actually. I had supervision this afternoon or this morning, and we were focusing on the process of reflective practice. And so my top tip here on how to feel more confident as a coach is around reflection and engaging in that. So today we did an activity which allowed us to think about a specific session, most recently a coaching session that we've had, and to think about what was going on for us as a coach. So that was through one lens and the reflective practice of that. And then the second one was to have a position of the client. And so to involve and think about our reflection on what was going on for them in the moment. The reason why this helps us to feel more confident as a coach is that reflective practice is really important for us to see or not see those blind spots. And if we're in supervision, it's about us being challenged and supported by others to ask us those questions, to elicit some responses that will help us to see what we're doing in our practice from various different perspectives and various different lenses. I think often when we're coaching, we're so focused on the doing and getting into that moment, which is really, really important, that we don't necessarily isolate enough time post, but also pre. So in the session today, we were looking at like what was going on for us before the session, what was going on for us during the session, and then what was going on for us and the client as well in all three of those stages after. It can boost our confidence because it can help us to feel more empowered, more in control of ourselves in our session. But also it can help us to focus on the areas maybe that we might need to grow and strengthen and develop. And once we grow and strengthen and develop and enhance our competence, it just only leads to us being more confident in our ability, in our practicing as a coach. So I love the process of reflection. I know Sarah knows that I do. I always look for what could be better, but I always also celebrate what has worked well as well.
I love that, Rebecca. Yeah, thank you. I think those two principles, and we've taken this from education, but it's really transferable to other life areas, is that what went well and even better if, and actually having that discipline around that reflection. It's not only it's a core competency for us as coaches, right, as a reason. So yeah, it's great that you're able to create that space, Rebecca, in supervision to really go into depth and really reflect in a really structured and deep way into the power of coaching. Yeah, Sarah, you're saying celebrate even the small wins. 100%. It's so important, isn't it? Because it's so easy not to. It's so easy. And I'm speaking from experience here, so easy to just rush on to the next, what's next, without stopping to acknowledge those steps of incremental progress that we make over time that are super, super important. So thank you for that. Okay, tip number 3 from me is about trusting the coaching process. Because in coaching, I think sometimes, maybe particularly in the early days, we can get swept up with the kind of the highs, right, of coaching. So sometimes we ask a question, or sometimes a client has a light bulb moment, an aha moment, and we kind of get like we get high on that because it comes from a good place, right? We want to help people and we're like, woohoo, that was amazing. And then we have other sessions where maybe it's a bit slower, or the relationship is a little bit more challenging, or the client is processing, or there's something else going on. And it's easy, it links to what Rebecca was saying a minute ago about reflection, but it's easy to look at those sessions and think, oh, that was a bit rubbish, or oh God, the client didn't have an aha moment in this session. Like, I must be rubbish as a coach. And actually, what we need to remember is the coaching process is incredibly powerful. So when we allow ourselves to trust the coaching process, we can then start to have more confidence in the value of the work that we're offering. And sometimes we might ask a question that the client doesn't seem to resonate with in the moment, or doesn't seem to respond with at the moment. But sometimes that question, a day later, a week later, a month later, maybe even longer than that, can have planted a seed that makes them go, ah, yes, and makes something click for them. So trust the process. It's not always about the quick wins. It's not about us. We're not kind of magicians as coaches, but we do have a powerful process through our deep listening, through our skillful questioning, through our ability to walk alongside our clients, trusting that coaching process. And that is where the magic happens for me.
I'm just going to shout out to Lynn there over on LinkedIn. And Lynn has said it's so easy to focus on the negatives and not recognize what went well. And I'm guessing that's in response to when you were talking earlier around the comparison trap, but also the reflection and the trust in the coaching process that applies to all of those three areas of focus there. Lovely Christos, who is in our collective, has said for his reflection, what went well and what would I do differently? And it's important for us to look at both sides of our coaching session, also to see what you could do more of if it went well, and what area you might need to strengthen or develop. So thank you for participating and engaging in that as well. So I think for me, if I was to go for one more topic, Sarah, I think I'm trying to think whether I would go for the development part or the client part. And I'm actually going to go for working with clients that we love. And I'm going to touch on something that might resonate with some people that are in the very early stages of their journey. When we are starting our coaching business, or whether we are engaging in coaching in our profession, sometimes we might not feel that we have the choice to choose who we want to work with, because we're still trying to build our experience and expertise in that area. So if we're self-employed, we may work with everyone. And if we're employed, we may not also have a choice of who we get to work with and coach. In employment, sometimes you don't have that choice. But I think it's really important for us, firstly, to experiment. I love the process of experimenting and trialing and testing what we like, what we don't like, who we like working with, who we do like working with. I think that's important because as coaches, we don't need to be the coach for everyone. And it's okay to just be the coach for a small group of people, because what's really important for me is the rapport. So coaching is about relationship for me, and it's about connection. And once you build that relationship and that rapport, I think that you have stronger and deeper sessions with your client, because you are both parties are able to be truly present with each other, but be really comfortable with each other. And I think when you find that type of person or a group of people that you love working with, I think you'll recognize a difference in your feeling of flow. I think you'll know, right? I think you really know when you found a group of people. For example, one of our collective members works with creatives, and they are really in flow in that field with that group of people. Some people work with just female professionals or female or educators or sportsmen, women, right? So you know when you're in your element. When you're in your element, you are able to feel more confident as a coach because you're able to truly just be present and enjoy that process. So I think it's important at the early stages to trial and test and explore. I really do think there's a lot of learning that comes from that. I think when you really do find your zone, like your zone of happiness, your zone of flow, I think that's a really, really empowering moment for a coach as well. Sonia has said here, trust the process when no aha moments. Trust the process when there are no aha moments. And I think, we can often become so wrapped up in our own thought process that we don't just be. And the moment when we can be, I think that's really magical.
Yeah, I'm taking away from what you've said there, Rebecca, like that reminder about coaching presence. And I think this wraps it up really nicely, actually, because I think that's the point, isn't it? When we feel more confident as a coach, and it does take time and it is a journey, but when we feel more confident, we stop worrying about, am I doing this right? What's the next question? All of that stuff. It allows us to be fully present. And actually, that's where it is. That's where we want to be, isn't it? Because then that's where we're very, very conscious about when we're in rapport, when we might fall out of rapport, and we connect as well better with our intuition about when to hold silence and when the next question is the right thing to say, etc. So it's the confidence then that builds into the presence, and when we build that presence, that's when we become really, really effective as coaches. Okay. So lots of information we've given you. So I hope that has been valuable. We'd really love to hear from you. Like, what's your number one that you're taking away? What's the one thing that you're taking away from this today? Pop it in the chat, whether you're watching live now or whether you're watching later on replay, and let us know. Okay. And we have got something to share with you about what's coming up. So we are offering free coaching supervision experiences, listening partnerships, starting from the 22nd of June from 11 till 12. So you can register for that by going to bit.ly/supervision experience. So if you're not yet in the collective, but you're a coach and you're like, I'd like to connect with coaches and I'd like to learn more about supervision, then definitely sign up for that, and we would really love to welcome you for that.
And I think that's it from us for now. We normally try and keep these to 15 minutes or less. So feel free to connect and send us a DM if you've got any questions. And for now, we will see you probably next week. So take care and have a great rest of the week.
Take care. Thanks for joining us, everyone.